is there potentially a situation where you could have a fluoride level in the water that's higher than what they claim to be?
Yes, the potential is always there. It's not monitored 24/7. They go out 3 times a week and they check these levels and they make the adjustments. So the potential is that based on demand and flows, that could go up in that tank, or it could go up in the system, and you wouldn't recognize the higher level until the operator went back out there the following time, which may be 2 days later, which may be with a holiday or a weekend, maybe 3 days later.
How much does it fluctuate from place to place? I mean, it's not just a constant level throughout the whole city like they kind of portray it as.
No, they can get close, man. I will give them a small amount of credit. They can get close. What they do is they test the raw water. Your raw water may change and fluctuate while you're gone, but you set it based on a certain parts per million. Maybe the raw water goes down and the fluoride level goes down, or your raw water was 0.1 but goes up to 0.3, and you have your settings based on a different reading. You might be the first person on that tap when the raw water goes up and they're still dosing at a higher level based on a lower level of raw water fluoride. You might be the first person on that system that gets it at 1.5 parts per million before the adjustment is made. But the real problem is not the adjustment or the universal level, is that there's no universal monitoring. The kids that live at the first tap may have issues where they can't process the fluoride. You know, for whatever. You begin to understand where fluoride comes from, not calcium fluoride. That's
the naturally occurring
compounds. Fluoride that exists in very, very, very low doses in our water already. The fluoride that we're using is it's a byproduct from the aluminum industry. It's also a byproduct of the fertilizer industry.
Phosphate fertilizer.
Our rural areas, too, wear the shroud of air pollution. One example is Central Florida, where fluorides given off in the processing of phosphates for fertilizer have damaged the citrus and cattle industries that form the mainstay of the local economy. Fluorides in the dust given off by phosphates also produce the disease fluorosis in the cattle. Bony growths develop along the skeleton, causing lameness and finally death.
If these things are considered toxic poisons and you have to get rid of them in another way, then these companies wouldn't be as prosperous.
By recovering fluosilicic acid from fertilizer manufacturing, water and air pollution are minimized, and water authorities have a low cost of fluoride. In other words, EPA's solution to pollution by this waste product is dilution, as long as it's not dumped into rivers and lakes, but rather directly into drinking water systems.
Now they're selling the byproduct as well as, the product that they intended. So it definitely makes it more profitable, and it allows them to throw some extra money at the ADA. It allows them to throw extra money at these little crony things that are formed, like with the county of First Five or wherever you're at, whatever it's called. It's a byproduct, okay? It's dumped directly into the trucks and shipped to municipalities. From that point to the point where it gets put into the water, it's a toxic waste.
Like the fire department, they're really the first responders if there was some sort of hazardous waste spill.
Your local fire department is trained in what they call hazmat or hazardous materials. When they respond to a situation and they don't know what it is, they have to read certain signs. There's placards. They may not be able to get close enough to read the placards. What the City of Sacramento now is requesting is a new rapid deployment kit. What this kit will allow them to do is remotely analyze what's been spilled, so that they can figure out how to contain it in a responsible manner. The new rapid deployment kit detects hydrogen fluoride. If this is a kit utilized to limit their exposure to toxins, and fluoride is not a toxin, why would it be on the list of things that this deployment kit detects?
This film itself is presented here only to show that mammalian cells in tissue cultures can be and are damaged by fluorides, and some even killed when their contact with sodium fluoride is in the concentration of 1 part in 30 million. And we do have photographic records showing almost the same thing in 1 part in 60 million. You will note here where the fluorine has just been introduced that there is a distinct stimulation of all the cells as they react to the poison. This we take to be a defense mechanism. Then things begin to slow up and reproduction is definitely inhibited.
Not just the water treatment operators that are certified, all of your firefighters, and I would venture to guess some of your police department and county sheriffs as well, are familiar with the toxic levels of fluoride and the caution that you have to respond to these spills, because it is incredibly toxic.
Here we have another demonstration of the destruction of cells by a perfusion of 1 part in 30 million. Note the swelling of the membranes around the cells. This makes it impossible for them to absorb foodstuff. Note they're shriveling up now. There are no cells dividing. Most of the cells are dead or dying.
They say, well, we've diluted it to such a point that it's no longer toxic in your water.
The Center for Disease Control has identified fluoride in the water as one of the top 10 most significant factors in the last 20 years to help young people, particularly in disparate communities.
Whether it's vaccines or fluoride or spraying or some of these other things, public health isn't something that is always an easy goal to accomplish, and you're trying to provide widespread benefit to a community and a population, and not everybody will understand that.
Something that's toxic is always toxic.
Yeah, no, it just the change in the dose changes what the effects will be.
In summary, I wish to make it very clear again that this film, which you have just seen, is a graphic record of what we and Drs. Berry and Trillwood have seen in our cultures when they were perfused with dilute solutions of sodium fluoride. And if prolonged over months and years, as in this case where fluoridated water is being used, chronic disorders and upsets of function in one or more of the vital organs may ensue. But the constant drinking of fluoridated water may bring about a gradual accumulation of damaged and scarred tissue in the various organs, resulting in the production of many vague complaints in some or in nearly all parts of the body.
Your body has certain filters to eliminate the fluoride, and if you don't have a filter on your house, you are the filter. Fluoride has nothing to do with water treatment. It's actually more of a nuisance, because of its effects on pH and things like that.
Fluoridation is one of the top 10 public health achievements of the 20th century. That statement is cited nearly every day somewhere in the world. And those people that are citing it don't realize that the paper on which it's based is junk science. It was written by a dentist that had never written anything on fluoridation before, and an economist. Those two people have persuaded the world that fluoridation is one of the top 10 public health achievements of the 20th century. What they should have told them, it's one of the greatest betrayals of the public's trust in the 20th century.
This water comes in from the river, it's treated at a treatment plant. You take a drink or you take a shower, it goes down the drain, it goes to a wastewater facility. They eliminate waste and it goes right into the river. Fluoride is not one of those wastes that gets eliminated. And I've heard here recently that it's somewhere, sometimes even the range of 0.3, 0.4 parts per million on the raw side. But it also benefits the operator to remove it as well, because it's a hazardous material that they're no longer dealing with. So their safety, at that point comes into play. The sodium fluoride that they use, they take it out to the wells, they put it in a saturator, it goes into a small reservoir and then into the distribution system. If I took that same bag of sodium fluoride that they used and I dumped it in the river behind us, I would be arrested, because I was dumping a industrial waste into our river, which is protected from industrial waste. A bag of sodium fluoride in that river would be diluted rather quickly, but it's still a protected river for all the people that use it for drinking water. But if they dump it into the well and give it to you slowly, well, that's okay. Every level of humanity that protects the environment would not allow me to put sodium fluoride in any of their waterways. If fluoride is on that list as a hazardous material, I don't know how much easier it becomes at that point to explain it. It's a hazardous material. It's an industrial waste byproduct.